Nobody wants me anymore. It's been a hard year for poor old Udana. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh no, here she comes. Back in your box, old man. Well, hello there. Hopefully the Christmas apocalypse has been treating you better than regular apocalypse. Today we're gonna talk about Udana. Please build him a list. Um, he's one of my favorite commanders, but Agate has really outshone him at this point. Like his main benefit has always been his value for money. His ability, unless you work around it, is kind of situational at the best of time. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to try and figure out, well, what can we do with a list to help him out. Now, one thing I'm going to say is there's an old blog that's back on the street. I have you now. I'll have a description. I'll have a link in the description. It's well worth the read. Um, Done by Green Knight, who's put a lot of work into Warlords, Armada, and the Vassal mod. So it's definitely worth the read. Anyway, so I'll add that in the description. But anyway, back to Dudana. So what can we do um, to make him sing? Well, I think what we want is, because we want to proc that ability as much as possible, um, want to increase the number of dice pools. So the best dice pool, bang for buck, long range, keep hitting people is a CR90. Now, with the change to evade, I think we need to be more careful than just a CR90 TRC. So I'm thinking we go linked turbo lasers for these CR90s. The other reason is how to increase the dice pool without spending a lot. So for, let's say we have 5 ships in this, we can spend 25 points and get 5 extra attacks, potential attacks. Do that by using a slot that you don't see used on CR90s a lot. We're going to add in reactive gunnery in the defensive retros. So let's throw 4 of these CR90As with linked turbo laser towers. Now, got you've got a little bit of extra flexibility. We add Jaina's Light to 1, obviously because that's going to do a lot. We'll add Ezra to another, simply because it can kind of act as a quasi Jaina's Light to get an obstacle out of the way. Now with Dudana, probably almost need a MC30. Again, we're going to look at increasing the dice pool by just making this a scout frigate, again using that defensive rate to add reactive gunners. We'll add admonition to try and keep it alive, A, because it's cheaper, but B, because I think with Foresight, if you really want to do fun Foresight things, you probably need to actually put ECMs in there just to guarantee survival. I'm going to put Lando on here because, again, we don't have those ECMs, so we want to keep him alive. Ordnance experts, the blacks we roll back will be great. And then we'll put APTs because with Dudana, they're just that extra little bit of a kick. So it's a cheap enough with 91 points. It's not too bad as admonition goes. We'll put Dudana because that's potentially our safest ship. It won't generally die to one. Then we're going to add a combat retrofit flotilla, just because it's going to add a little bit of extra dice pool. And it's nice to mess around with some combat flotillas from time to time. And then we'll hand out munition resupplies, getting those extra rerolls. So we've got our rerolls off our LTTs, and we'll have like concentrate fire in case we need. and we'll add some squadrons. So probably want light squadron, but can still do it with it. Now Dutch is probably one of the greatest little fighters. Bomber stops somebody activating. He can cause all kinds of trouble. And then we'll just add our go-to staying alive, tying people down, Tycho, winner of the My Fleet Didn't Die and Tied People Up every single year so far. We got these two. It's a small fighter screen, it's being commanded, but it's basically the most annoying fighter screen you can use. Got a small, tiny bit of a bid. We've got Ezra, we've got Jaina's Light for dealing with stuff like posing people's asteroid tactics, things like that. Okay, so we've increased the dice pool. So what I'm looking at here is close range intel scan. Okay, scoring from close range intel scan is not a critical effect. It's spending and accuracy, which from my understanding with Salfo is just fine. So that's the one we're looking at there. The idea is those times where you're not using those accuracies on your attacks, maybe you roll all accuracies, you just score points off it. You can use the dust fields to sneak up on onagers, and it's just all round decent. Fence, we'll go with Asteroid Tactics. If they want those sweet treat tokens, they're taking Duana criticals. And then one that you don't see a lot, but it's dangerous territories. Now, normally, I would advise Fested Fields. But here you take dangerous territories simply because it can't be scored by fighters. You've got Jaina's Light to score it, and then you take the debris field on your side. So if they want to score, they're scoring off asteroids. And that's where our little Dudana comes into play. So that's a quick Dudana fleet. Yeah. Let me know what you think. The rules are, as always, if you want a fleet built, comment and ask for one. Hope everyone's had a happy Christmas, and we'll see you again in the new year.